G'day, I'm Aaron from Collins Gregory Real Estate and welcome to our Investor Insight series. In this video, we'll be discussing the introduction of the new minimum housing standards for rental properties here in Queensland. It's important for our agency that all of our owners are informed about your rights and how your obligations may change as a result of these reforms. The minimum housing standards will come into effect for all tenancy agreements signed from the 1st of September 2023 and any remaining tenancies from the 1st of September 2024. Where an existing tenancy renews their lease agreement after the 1st of September 2023, the new minimum housing standards will apply. As these obligations fall to rental property owners and leases, it's important to act if required. These changes have been reportedly introduced to ensure that all Queensland rental properties are safe, secure and functional, and provide all parties with more clarity around the maintenance obligations. So, what are these new minimum housing standards and what do they mean? There are several of them, so let's break them down. The property must be weatherproof, structurally sound, and in good repair. For example, the roof and windows must prevent water from entering the home when it rains. There needs to be no risk of collapse because of rot or defect, and structures need to be not impacted by significant dampness. There also needs to be limited risk of damage occurring to a tenant's property. Some of these items may be visually apparent and obvious, but others may need to be assessed by a trade professional. For example, dampness can be caused by inadequate drainage, excess condensation, or a blocked pipe. Property managers will be able to help in notifying owners of potential issues, but are not responsible for identifying structural defects. A professional inspection and opinion may be required in some instances. Fixtures and fittings in the home must be of good repair. This includes any relevant electrical appliances provided as part of the property, such as dishwashers and air conditioning systems. External windows and doors must have functioning locks or latches. They must be able to be secured against unauthorized entry. This requirement applies to those windows and doors that could be accessed from outside of the home without using a ladder, so consider ground height windows and those nearby to climbable structures. The property must be free of vermin, damp, and mold. We've included some examples that may apply for each of these aspects. In some instances, the real cause of any issue may not be apparent, and a professional opinion may be best to identify the cause. As part of our agency's approach to risk management, we recommend that our owners undertake annualised pest control treatments. These can be bundled with a termite inspection to provide a cost saving. The property must have privacy coverings for all windows in all rooms which a tenant would reasonably expect privacy. It's appropriate that certain rooms in a home provide privacy, such as those as a bathroom, bedroom, or toilet. The standard is not limited to just those rooms. This may depend on the individual home. Privacy coverings include curtains, blinds, window tinting, or glass frosting. The requirement does not apply if a line of sight between a person outside the home and a person inside the room is obstructed by a fence, hedge, tree, or other feature of the property. It is, however, important to consider changes to a home. For example, if you have a hedge blocking a view and that hedge is then removed, a privacy covering may then be required. If in doubt, best practice is to have a simple covering installed to the internal of the window. The property must have adequate plumbing and drainage for the number of people occupying the home. It also needs to be connected to a water supply and have the appropriate setup for both hot and cold water for drinking. Bathroom and toilet facilities must provide privacy, and each toilet must function as designed. They must also be connected to an appropriate waste management system. The kitchen must include a functioning cooktop, and the laundry must include fixtures required to provide a functional laundry. In the standards, functional is not specifically defined, but it is likely that items such as taps and connection points for washing machines, laundry tubs and sinks, and the presence of appropriate lighting and a clothesline may be considered. So, what are the consequences of a property that does not meet the minimum housing standards? There are three areas that have been amended as part of the changes to the legislation. We'll go through them now briefly. The meaning of an emergency repair has now been expanded to include minimum housing standards compliance works. Tenants and property managers are now permitted to authorise emergency repairs up to the value of 4 weeks' rent. For tenants, they must still follow a procedure to notify and request repairs through the agency. As an agency, we will maintain our existing procedure whereby we will attempt to contact you, as the owner, to seek your instructions. However, where this is not possible, we will always act to put the safety of your tenants and your asset first. The next area of change is the introduction of repair orders. Tenants can now apply to QCAT for a repair order if the property or its inclusions need repair. Repair orders can include an order for compensation for the tenant. Where a repair order has been granted by QCAT, it will continue to apply to the property until resolved. It will now also become an offence for a leaser not to comply with an order unless there is a reasonable excuse. The penalty will initially be over $7,000 per instance. Repair orders will also need to be disclosed on any future general tenancy agreements until the repair issue is resolved. The next area of change is that of a tenant's right to end a tenancy. If a property is not compliant, a tenant may, within the first 7 days of moving in, issue a notice of intention to leave because of a non-compliance with the minimum housing standards. A tenant will now also be able to apply for a QCAT termination order in the first 3 months of moving into the property if they believe that the leaser or agent gave false or misleading information about the property's condition. Where these situations occur, they would not be considered a break lease, and no penalties or break lease fees would be chargeable to the tenant. So, how will this all work? In recent months, our agency has been completing a review of our managed properties to identify those that we believe may be impacted by the introduction of the new minimum housing standards. Where we believe that a potential compliance issue may exist, we will notify our owners and seek instructions on how to proceed. So, this may include arranging a simple repair or replacement, or working with you to arrange a professional inspection or project manager for more substantial issues requiring more significant works. As an owner and given these changes, it's important that you take some time to consider your own property. We believe that the vast majority of our managed properties will already meet the standards. However, if you believe that your home may not meet some of the minimum housing standards, please get in touch with us to discuss. Given that these obligations fall to you as the property owner and leaser, it's important to act. Now will be the time to begin works on bringing your property back into compliance if required. Thanks for watching. If you have any friends or family with rental properties in Queensland that would benefit from learning more about the new minimum housing standards or the other reforms, please share this video with them. As always, if you have any questions about how these reforms may impact your investment, give us a call. We'd be happy to help.